Marv Albert joining us here once again on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Marv?
Good, Rich. How you doing? It was certainly the unexpected last night.
Well, I mean, did you see anything pre-game, anything coming out of the locker room, maybe at half, body language, anything that gave an indication something like this might be on the way?
You know, people always try to measure, they'll watch warm-ups, whatever the sport, and try to get some kind of indication, but it's so rare that you really can actually see anything. And all we saw were the Celtics walked in kind of with their heads hanging low. Brad Stevens is always up. We chatted with him before the game, and told us what basically he was going to tell the players, etc. But to see a game like that, where particularly with LeBron having his worst playoff game perhaps ever, I know he's had even lower numbers. There was a 7-point game while with Miami in the playoffs. That was his playoff career low. But he just didn't seem engaged. I know at the start, and we saw with Kyrie Irving in Game 2, or in Game 1, I should say, where everyone else was into it, and Kevin Love was on fire, and Irving was playing well. So he kind of laid back. But you kept thinking that when it got close in the fourth quarter last night, that, okay, now LeBron's going to start in and, drive to the bucket and start throwing up threes, but he just never got into it. I think it's just hard even for a guy like LeBron to just turn it on.
Well, I mean, and it can't be that he's, tired, because, I mean, the amount of rest that this team has had in the playoffs, and certainly games 1 and 2 certainly looked like the rust had been knocked off if it existed at all. What did you see that the Celtics did? Maybe you just tip your cap to something that Brad Stevens and the rest of that team did defensively that you didn't see in games 1 and 2.
I mean, there's no question. I don't use the word great, lightly. I mean, he, obviously did it at Butler, and he's done a wonderful job with Boston. But I thought, and I said it on the telecast, of course, the Celtics would have preferred had Isaiah Thomas been available. But I thought without Thomas on the floor, aside from the fact that the Celtic defense was better, I thought that the Cavs, who were trapping and double-teaming and the new basketball word blitzing, really made it difficult for Thomas. And I thought without that energy on the part of Cleveland, I thought their sense of urgency wasn't the same. They were flying all over the court against Isaiah. And now you had a normal lineup, because Isaiah Thomas, when not hurt, is a brilliant player. I mean, he was, had an incredible year. But at his size, I know he's listed at 5'8", 5'9". I think maybe he's 5'7". He is really small, and it changes the game. Sometimes, in the Cavaliers' case, it changed the game to their benefit.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that video, be sure to download our app. Don't have any memory on your phone? Let's start to delete some of those slow-mo videos you have. And you know which ones I'm talking about.